Back now on Newsy Tonight, I'm Chance Seals. Truckers protesting Canada's nationwide vaccine mandate have shut down its capital city and cross-border trade for 2 weeks. And the door prize? America could soon see its own convoy very soon. According to the AP, Homeland Security says truckers in the United States might be mapping out their own protest from California to D.C. starting in a few days. It could mean major headaches for the Super Bowl on Sunday, the president's State of the Union address March 1st. And get a look right here, because this is where it all began. One bridge into Canada, that was the Ambassador Bridge. But tonight it has spread out. 3 crossings are blocked by sympathizers of the truckers. Police made some headway urging truckers to leave a roadway that leads to Ottawa's airport. However, they're sitting firm at the busiest route linking Canada to the United States. And the impact is getting real. Automakers have been forced to cut back or even stop production at plants on both sides of the border. GoFundMe also will be investigated by 4 states for pulling the plug on a fundraiser for those truckers. The company said the campaign violated the terms of service. At least $10 million was donated before the shutdown. Joining me now to go deeper is investigative reporter for Grid News, Steve Reilly. He's been closely following and uncovering essential elements of the protest in Canada. Steve, I've been following your Twitter very closely, and I just wonder, how is this all being organized? Because some of it seems like it's right in the open. It's on GoFundMe, it's on Facebook, but some of it is more secret on Telegram. You know, who's controlling the nerve center?
Well, it's great to be with you. And what we found at Grid News, my colleagues Anya Van Wagtendonk, Ben Powers, and I looked at some of the largest Facebook groups that were behind the organization of the Freedom Convoy protest. And what we found were a group of Facebook groups which were controlled by the Facebook account of a woman in Missouri, apparently. But there was more to it than meets the eye. We looked into this specific account, and it appeared that it had been hacked. So that account was full of family photos, normal things people would post on Facebook, non-political things, until January of this year, when all of a sudden it posted a fundraiser for Donald Trump. And there was a comment below that from the woman's daughter, excuse me, saying that this account has been hacked. And so we reached out to her, and she confirmed it had been hacked. And so what we're left with are a lot of questions about who hacked into that account and who were they? Who were these actors who were administering this large network of Facebook groups, more than 300,000 followers, that was directing donations and lending ideological and logistical support to the Freedom Convoy protest.
And do we have any clue at all? Are we thinking, you know, the mind obviously goes straight to Russia or someone just trying to make mischief. Do we have any idea?
We really don't. We at Grid asked Facebook about this. They wouldn't directly address the hacked account. They might have access to more specific information about where the internet activity was coming from when the changes were made to the account. We haven't received any answers from Facebook. And so we're just left with questions about who would want to become involved in creating these groups and why they didn't want their identities apparently to be known, why they used an inauthentic process to help shape these protests in Canada.
Who's funding all this, Steve? Because we have played video night after night, and, you know, you see pizza, and they all have, you know, enough gasoline, and they have bounce houses. You know, there are some families living there. Where's all the money coming from?
Well, certainly we have, obviously, the right to protest our government here in the U.S., and similar rights are in place in Canada, and generally nothing wrong with raising funds to support legitimate protest efforts. In this case, though, we have seen GoFundMe suspend a donation program because they weren't sure about the specifics of where the money was going. Fundraising has moved to a different platform called Give, Send, Go. And again, we have similar unanswered questions about exactly who is giving the money and why. Certainly there's a very sincere protest core movement at the core of this, but also there are fringe actors who we've seen glom on to the protests, and ultimately we don't know exactly who is giving the money and exactly what it's being used for.
We don't know what's going to happen in Ottawa. We keep hearing the government's going to clear the streets. They can't clear the streets. They don't know if they're going to clear the streets. And also that DHS here in the U.S. says a convoy could be starting in L.A. at the Super Bowl, going here to D.C. for the State of the Union. And based on everything you can gather, are we seeing something that is AstroTurf or more grassroots?
That's the major question. And what we've found is that it's very difficult to tell. The combination online of inauthentic actors AstroTurfing or pretending they're someone who they're not is a very real situation. On the other hand, there are some people who are disclosing their identities, who are disclosing what they're about. And so those are combining, and we'll have to see both in Canada and the U.S. Whether we can distinguish between the two as this moves forward.
Mm-hmm. Steve Reilly with Grid News. I'm going to keep refreshing Grid News because you're putting out good stuff, as a lot of us have wondered what's going on and what's next. Thank you.
Thank you so much.